All right, I think we're gonna get started now. I'd like to welcome everybody. My name is Brian Steiner. I'm NAIFA's Vice President of Business Development. We're excited today to have Mike Pepe, who's going to share with us how to maximize in-force visibility and analytics to grow and automate our businesses. First, a few housekeeping items. All attendees are going to be on mute in listen-only mode. I encourage you to ask questions, and if you do, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, and we will address all questions as time permits at the end of the session. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mike Pepe. Michael capitalized on his nearly 20 years of life insurance policy expertise by launching Proformex, a cutting-edge fintech provider and in-force policy management platform that helps fiduciaries, financial planners, insurance brokerages, and agents monitor, manage, and govern their life insurance policies. Its software as a service solutions are designed to proactively alert customers of potential problems with their life insurance policies and protect against degradation and asset erosion. Prior to founding Proformex and serving as its president, Michael started in the life insurance business with MassMutual and quickly became a leading agent. Soon after, he co-founded River Financial Group, a full-service financial advisory firm. His focus was on building highly successful financial planning practices, which took into account the various parts of holistic financial planning. As he focused on estate planning, he started the Tolley Group, a life insurance firm which was designed to fill the gap in the market for insurance consulting and the need for ongoing policy monitoring and management support. And from our perspective for NAIFA, we're really excited to have Mike participate today. We're excited about our relationship moving forward with Proformex and have them as a partner. And this will be first in a series of thought leadership sessions that we're going to be doing with Proformex moving forward. So welcome, Michael, and I'll let you take it from here.
Brian, thank you very much. And thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. And we are excited about the partnership with NAIFA as well. As a former member of NAIFA when I was in my production years, I know it's a valuable organization and we're delighted to be part of it. And we do look forward to doing many webinars, webcasts, and CEs, both locally and at the state level moving forward. So what we're going to do today is, give you a high level about what Proformex is and how we believe we can help you not only protect your clients, but drive additional revenue and value. So as Brian said, a little different, Proformex is a SaaS software company, but it was created and founded by myself, and, little different twist on it because I came from the insurance industry. I was a captive agent for years. I went independent. I know the value of insurance and how it protects families and how it fits into financial plans. So we designed this software with the advisors in mind and the policyholders, and ultimately protecting beneficiaries for the long term. So, what we're going to share with you today is, what we're all about, how it works, and how it can help you grow your business. And then at the end, we'll open up for some Q&A. So if you do have questions, you can put them in the chat box, and we'll get to them as time depends on it. So the first thing is, what I was trying to solve for is, as you grow your book of business and protect clients' needs, how do you stay on top of all those policies? How do you make sure there's not opportunities that you're missing within your book of business? So when you think about your own block of business and your clients, are you doing reoccurring meetings with the clients? Are you positive that their needs are still being met with their current coverages? Are you worried about missing opportunities and upselling with your current clients? That was a big one for me because obviously as I grew my practice over the years, what I originally sold them, in the first 5 or 6 years of my practice, to what they probably need and should be having, as my practice grew in the 10th and 15th year, you always wanted to go back to those clients and make sure they're firstly protected and we had the best solutions in place for them. And at the end of the day, I wanted to make sure when I did have those opportunities with our clients that my conversion rate was as high as possible. And for me, it always went back to the value. What was I bringing that client? So each and every need that they had, they were going to come to me to make sure it was taken care of. So, having that value add was very important and really drove my conversion rate when I was in front of a client. If there was a need and an issue, chances are we were going to get the business, assuming they were healthy and could go through the underwriting process. But by doing that, it was very difficult for us because it was all manual back in those days. And we really had to spend a lot of time and energy doing it. And we needed to make sure, what we sold was still in force. There was a lot of questions about, what's going on inside this policy? Are they performing the way intended? Has my client's needs changed? Are there opportunities for these term policies for conversions? So it really drove me into the best way to do this is start doing annual reviews consistently for my clients. So that's what drove the whole genesis of why Proformex is around today. And when you talk about, advisors, there's a lot you need to know about the products that you sold. Are they in force? Is the conversion date coming up? What's the cash value? Is it on track? Has it been funded properly? Are they missing payments? Does it come up to their client's best interest? So there's a lot of things that go into these individual products, and not so bad when you have one or two products sold and one or two clients, but as you get into 50, 60, 100 policies, 200 policies, it becomes overwhelming to track all this. And again, to get access and line of sight on all that information, you're across multiple carrier portals. You're going through different statements from different carriers. The old way, going into the filing cabinet and figuring out what they had and reviewing what they sold. Illustrations, going into your CRM. So data scattered everywhere, and it's hard to get a line of sight on the information that you need to do for proper reviews. So for me and for most people that we talk to, the policy review process is manual, and it's very time consuming, and it can be costly. For me, it was about 3 hours for each one of my policy owners every time I did a review. And back then we had to physically go back into the file, figure out what we sold them, reviewed those notes, and then go to the carrier and order the statements and the illustrations that we need, not only for the current in force, but projections out to make sure that the policy isn't performing, and if it's off track, what we need to do to get it back on track. Chances are when we ordered those, we had to reorder them because they never came back or they were run improperly. But once we gathered all that and reviewed them, then we had to sit down and go through all the data one by one. I was spending a ton of time reading statements, reading illustrations, getting my thoughts together. And then I had to create individual policy reports for every one of my clients. And again, it wasn't consistent for each and every person. So if I had a client that had multiple carriers and multiple products, their reports may be a little different from here to there. So again, very time consuming, and I was committed to do it annually for each and every one of my clients. Fast forward now 7 years with Proformex, we automate about 90% of that process for the advisors and the policyholders. And then when the advisors get involved, it's basically the last 15 minutes where you're going to push a button, generate the client-ready report for you to finalize. You could review it. You could drop in your comments, your recommendations. You could showcase product alternatives right in the report. And now you're ready to deliver to the client. Obviously face-to-face would be great, but the way the world is today, utilizing the technology and being able to deliver this, over the web, and you and your clients could review it together. It helps you with that interaction and get it in front of your clients. But the key to the whole thing, it's consistent. It's the same report. We take all that data from the statements, the illustrations, any data feeds that may be incorporated, and the client gets a one-page report based on the performance of their policy. You could showcase a cover page with your logo, your disclosure. Then the last page, if you want to add recommendations for product alternatives, internal modifications, or life settlement evaluation, you could embed it right into the report, or we have a service that could help you on that end as well. So again, we're here to support you and your advisors and make sure this is done proactively each and every year for you. But again, even if you're doing one policy review per week, that's 52 policies a year. That's 156 hours, if you are taking 3 hours to do your reviews. So just by utilizing the platform and doing 52 reviews a year, that's 4 hours back in your pocket for prospecting, for meeting with clients, for generating new business. while knowing that your client's needs are protected. So again, very powerful when you tie back to in-force management. Obviously, over the last 7 years, we've grown a lot of clients across the whole distribution channel, whether they're individual advisors, agents, agencies, broker dealers, general agencies, wirehouses, captive carriers, you name it. We're seeing success stories across the lot. One of the big ones is AXA. They started doing reviews within our platform, and they're finding about 14% of the policies within the first month are opportunities for their advisors to get back in front of them. We have a wealth of data in our database, well over 300,000 policies, and about 10% of the policies that we see across all our clients can be and should be reviewed within the next 6 months. So there's tremendous issues and concerns for clients, but again, opportunities to get back in front of them and put the clients in a better situation with possibly a product replacement or a settlement or a term conversion. So again, it's hard work if you're doing it manually. Proformex automates that, eases all that pain, but the ROI can be tremendous for yourself and your business long term. So the value that we bring, first and foremost, when I first started and I went independent and I started selling products across multiple carriers, had no visibility into my total book of business. With Proformex, it's all consolidated across all carriers. You know exactly your product mix, your carrier mix, anniversaries across all your policies. So you had that visibility first and foremost, so you could get line of sight on what's going on in your portfolio. Huge time savings, whether you're doing admin, whether you're doing research, whether you're doing reviews, whether you're meeting with your clients, leveraging technology to save you time so you could put it back in your business and use it to generate additional revenue or new revenue. And then the analytics, utilizing our platform, it's tied back to, built for the insurance needs and, really showcase insight, issues and opportunities proactively so that corrective measures can be taken sooner than later. And again, that's value add, supporting best interest for the clients, but ultimately finding new opportunities within your own book of business. So the key to the whole system here, 7 years ago when I was thinking and envisioning this, how do you make a system where you can monitor policies across multiple carriers and products and take the complexity out of it so that not only the advisor, but the policyholder can understand what they have and tie it back to their needs. So with Proformex, every policy that's in our platform, we track individual performance across 5 key parameters: lapse age, death benefit, premium, crediting rate, and carrier comdex. Those could be set globally across your entire book of business. They could be set at time of issuance, and then throughout the life of the contract, you or the policyholder can have the ability to adjust those guidelines. For me, this was very valuable because, my clients knew that every year they were getting a review. Prior to the review, we informed them what their current guidelines were. We got confirmation that yes, those in fact were still in line, or if they needed to make adjustments, we made them prior to the review. So by the time we delivered the review, it was tied back to their needs. So my sales cycle reduced by about 6 weeks, and my conversion rate percentages went through the roof. So again, very user-friendly for the advisor, but very easy to understand for the clients. And again, if it's on track, it's going to give you a green light. If it's off track, it's going to give you a red light. And if you set any acceptable ranges, it will let you know, what policies are tracking within that acceptable range. So we got down the tracking and we made it so it takes out the complexity, but then how are we going to streamline helping advisors get the data that they need to do reviews? So our system has the ability to automate the request for statements and illustrations. You can dictate the timing. Our default, again, is 5 days after anniversary. You could adjust that timing based on your portfolio, based on a block of policies, however you want to do it. And then you could customize how we request the illustrations being run. We have default settings as is, but again, if you're like myself and I had some created structures for different policies, if you need to request an in-force that, reduces the death benefit in 10 years or stops premium payments in year 15, You add it to our platform one time. We capture your signature. It's a first-party request going directly to the carrier automatically. Those documents get sent back to you directly. All you need to do is drag and drop those into our platform, no manual inputs. So again, very easy to take your whole portfolio and automate as much as we can through the technology. From there, it's all managing the workflow process for reviews. So once we know what policies on your platform, once we know the timing and how you want the documents requested, the system takes over and it will show you all the documents that we're waiting for statements and illustrations for. Again, your team or yourself, when you get those, you just drag and drop PDFs into our platform. We store them in the archives so you could track back to them at any time. And then we alert you when they've been processed and your database has been updated, and it moves over to the report is ready to review. And that's where you could get your eyes on it. You could review the analysis and you can make your comments and recommendations. And then when you hit finalize, it saves it as a snapshot, a PDF, stores it in your client archive so you could track back to it anytime. And now it's ready to deliver to your client, whether it's face-to-face or whether it's through the system going out as a notification or a reminder. So again, very powerful, streamlined process and consistent across all your policies. The notifications can be huge as well, especially with, with post-COVID here and, less face-to-face. Based on the role of the policy contact, whether you're an owner, an insured, a beneficiary, if you're a trustee, a policy advisor, trust beneficiaries or grantors, you could set up the system to send out premium reminders. You could alert them when the report's ready. You could alert them if any of their guideline colors have adjusted or changed. So it has that connectivity, that value add, and keeping it proactive for yourself and your clients. And again, very powerful tool that you control and turn on based on policy by policy and what advisors and contacts for that policy you want them to get notifications. But at the end of the day, once we get all that data, we're starting to do the reviews. Now you have a consolidated dashboard. Doesn't matter if you have 100 policies or 10,000 policies. Doesn't matter if you're working with one carrier or 300 carriers. It's pulling all that data and giving you visibility across your entire book of business. So for the first time, your total death benefit, total premium, total cash values, surrender values. You know every policy that's off track across all our 5 tracking points. So you can see in this scenario, there's 440 policies that will have a red light for the lapse age. Same thing with death benefit premium, crediting rate, Comdex, all at your fingertips. In the middle of the page, that's where I drove my revenue moving forward. It's all the policy alerts. So those are issues or opportunities for the advisors. So it identifies every policy, regardless of the red, yellow, or green light, that's projected to lapse in the next 5 years. Any term policy set to expire in the next 2 years. Any term policy with a conversion feature set to fall off in the next 2 years. It identifies every policy that fits the potential opportunity for a life settlement. So again, if your client no longer needs the coverage or can't afford it, there may be a better solution than just surrendering the policy. And it also identifies potential policies that may fit the mold for potential premium financing based on the death benefit and the amount of premium you're paying year to year. So again, for me, that was huge value add, and it helped me put a value on my book of business when I was transitioned out of it. Since I'm no longer a producer, someone was able to come in and take over my book of business with a predetermined value because he knew my total analysis of my book and the opportunities that were still in there. So again, very powerful, not only while you're working it, being proactive, but when you're ready to transition out of the business, this is a transition tool for the next person to step right in there and keep that client connectivity because they're used to getting the analysis and the reviews, and it's automated each and every year. So again, pretty powerful there. Another huge advantage that we have a module for prospecting for trust and trustee support. So when I was doing this, one of my opportunities was working with professional trustees, banks, law firms, trust departments, foundations, family offices, anyone that really had blocks of policies. With our trust module, we're able to help them group all their policies together, do the reviews and analysis for them, and support their fiduciary duties as it relates to, crummy letters, administration, gift reminders. It's all built in the system. So I used it as a leverage. I went out and prospect for it. It was a differentiator for me. I had that line of sight on a law firm entire book of business in their trust department. Before that, I may have known one center of influence that was a trustee at a law firm, and I was just looking at his 3 or 4 policies. After Proformex, I was able to look at the entire group combined, and I was more than just a life insurance advisor. I was bringing them value add, protecting them and their clients. In return, I was there to write new business. So again, very powerful if you're looking for it for more than just in-force monitoring, utilizing it for prospecting. It's built into the platform for you. And then at the end of the day too, this portfolio analytics is very powerful because before it was very hard for me to figure out how many annual reviews I needed to do in a month. So, now you just click policy anniversaries and it lists all 12 months. It tells you how many policies, and a click of the button, it shows you all those policies. Same thing for premiums by month, product types, carriers, beneficiaries, other advisors, if you link other advisors to your policies, so you could start tracking your centers of influences, policy status, ownership type, if it's trust owned, corporate owned, individually owned. So again, these analytics and insight not only helps you in your proactive management, but really sets you up to succeed long-term in the insurance industry. At the end of the day, we're here to support you and not only help you identify opportunities, but help you grow your revenue and bring in value added to your clients, really protecting them and their best interests first and foremost. That leads to repeat business for your current clients and referrals to their friends and family. And with our system, this goes back 7 years. Everything's tied back to the client's best interests. So with the regulation compliance and the best interest standards that are now out there, we were built for that. Everything's documented. You could go back in time and see all the statements, illustrations, reports. You could tie it back to your client's needs and adjust it throughout their lifetime. So if you are looking for a solution with the regulation BI and how you're going to stay in compliance, it's built into this to support you, and protect your clients. So with that in mind, we'd love you to visit our website. You could schedule a demo of the platform. There's a whole resource library there with videos, with white papers, with success stories from different clients. Happy to have this relationship with NAFA. Looking forward to long-lasting partnership here. And with that, I will open it up to questions here for the last 5 to 10 minutes. Brian, do you have any questions?
I do. Thank you, Michael. Sorry, I was just transitioning from being muted. The powers that be, they keep me shut down. Can you tell me a little bit about what your onboarding looks like?
Yes, and that's a great starting point. Again, we're here to support you. We have a whole onboarding team. So we need seed data, and some can come from a CRM. Obviously, if you have time of sale information, we could utilize that to pre-populate the system, and it's basic information. We do not need everything. We need carrier, policy number, owner name, insureds, product type, and then we need your signatures, and then we could go out and start requesting the statements and illustrations and updating that data. So don't think you have to populate the entire platform. You could also pick and choose. You don't have to put your whole book into this. We encourage you to put all your policies, but again, you could pick and choose what you want in the system, and of those policies, which ones you want us to automate reviews for as well.
Excellent. And it seems like there's a pretty robust reporting features and functionality within the platform. Are those reports configurable or customizable?
Yes. So, the cover page for sure. You could drop in your logo, your own disclosure. We have portfolio reporting too. So if you are doing reporting across a client's entire portfolio, you could generate and build Excel reporting right in there that you could drop in comments and link comments between policies. And then for product alternatives, a coverage assessment, that's completely customizable. You could drop in what you would recommend for internal modification product alternatives or for a life settlement. And we also have a service that, if you need help doing that, we can automate that for you as well. But everything was built for the advisor. If they just want to take it and run with it on their own, they can do it. If they're not staffed up, we're there to support you in any way necessary.
Excellent. And another question that's come in is, in what ways would I leverage Proformex as a marketing tool if I was trying to connect with new clients? Obviously, a lot of the conversation was around for in-force policies. So just curious, and if we're looking to grow and build beyond existing client base, how we can leverage the platform.
Yeah. And again, I lived that. I went a little different direction. I went to professional trustees, but at the core of the system, it's all about, interacting with your prospects and starting with the review. Our system can go out and request statements and illustrations at the policyholder level with their signature. So if you're prospecting and you got a new client, you could get their signature, have the system request statements and illustrations. They'll be sent back to that prospect. They forward them on, and then when you meet with them, you could review their policy based on their guidelines. So it's a heck of a prospecting tool, and it gives you that differentiator and value add while you're prospecting. That's something unique and different. And again, with harder and harder being face-to-face with prospects and clients, leveraging the technology to do that, it's a win-win for you and the clients.
Excellent. And I'm just looking here, a couple other notes that have been asked. Obviously, a cost justification. There's always, what's my ROI or perceived ROI? Can you I know you touched upon that before, but do you mind summarizing that a little bit as far as how, perceived costs and again, how we can turn that into more upside?
Yep, for sure. We have different configurations of the platform depending on what you need. So the starting price point could be a couple $1,000s and it could go up from there. It depends on your book of business. Obviously, how mature your book of business is going to differentiate that. What we're seeing is about 30% of the policies are on track and performing as intended. 30% of the policies can be modified with a replacement or a conversion. About 5% can be settled. So again, there's a lot of opportunities in there when you're looking at your book of business. It helps with your conversion rate too. So a lot of advisors that, start with the platform, maybe their conversion rate's 20%, it goes up to 30 or 40% because it's a process and a procedure and it's tied back to the client's needs. It takes out that selling. So that helps as well. And then obviously, if 10% of your book is going to be driving new revenue each year, just take 10% of your average commission. If you do 100 new policies a year, you could figure out the ROI. It's pretty substantial. It's about 40x is what we're seeing on average for advisors.
That's pretty awesome. Very, very good. I think that is all the questions that have come through. So being sensitive to everyone's time today, just really wanted to thank Mike and Proformex for participating and sharing information with us. Again, we appreciate the partnership. And just to let everybody know, this session will be available on demand in NAIFA's Business Performance Center very soon. And you can visit bpc.naifa.org to access the recording and all the event notes. So Mike, again, we appreciate the time, the relationship, look forward to a lot of good things moving forward. And thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And everyone stay safe and we'll talk soon.
Cheers.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.